Talking about Silicon Valley as a cluster. Silicon Valley is considered the global center of tech innovation, which is located in the San Francisco Bay Area. Apart from the location, Silicon Valley is known to contain an innovative mindset, entrepreneurial spirit, as well as technological lifestyle. The name Silicon Valley was adopted due to the region's association with transistors, which are used in today's microprocessors. Silicon Valley is known to have dozens of tech companies which operate from this region. Multinational companies such as Facebook, Apple, Google, and Netflix all started in Silicon Valley. Overall, there are 39 of the Fortune 1000 companies operating in Silicon Valley. This makes the region a big interest for venture capitalists and investors. Silicon Valley is estimated to contain a population of more than 3 million people, and the numbers are still growing. It is considered to be one of the wealthiest regions in the world, also one of the more distinguished real estate markets. The term Silicon Valley was first used by Electronic News on its January 10th, 1971 cover. It was part of a three-part series written by journalist Don Höfler, who was covering the history of the semiconductor. The term slowly expanded to include and be associated with technology, especially big tech. Silicon Valley also covers an area of 1,854 square miles and is home to 3 million people again, but it is located in the Bay region of California. Although its boundaries are somewhat nebulous, they generally include all of Santa Clara and San Mateo counties, the western edge of Alameda County, Scotts Valley, in Santa Cruz County. The region's largest city, however, is San Jose. It's also home to Stanford University and several state university campuses. These academic presence has helped fuel a rich research and development synergy throughout the valley. The legend of Silicon Valley from the beginning of the transistor industry is well known and has been written about. Most of the valley's early success came from either components like silicon chips or the hardware into which the chips were placed. It is actually fun to learn about the valley's history because the lesson is that the beginning of Silicon Valley was all about men and women engineers who had ideas out of science fiction about what technology could enable. Many of these ideas have now come true, like the personal computer and the iPhone, both envisioned by Steve Jobs. And we now wear what was once envisioned in a comic book as the Dick Tracy wrist radio, the Apple Watch. Early engineers were not after money, they were about making things possible that had never been possible before, such as space travel. As a result, they received both government grants and venture capital before venture capital became a thing. It originated from the financial centers like New York. Arthur Rock, for example, was an early investor in Intel, Apple, and Scientific Data Systems, the first Bay Area venture capital firms who located on Sand Hill Road, adjacent to the Stanford campus, were Kleiner, Perkins, Caulfield, and Byers, and Sequoia Capital. As for the cluster policies, I will discuss this matter by the use of the cluster diamond and referring this to the competitiveness within Silicon Valley. As for the incentives given by the government, there's a small business healthcare tax credit, the Work Opportunity Tax Credit, also known as WOTC, the federal and state small business grants, local small business grants, corporate small business grants, state hiring incentives, expansion incentives, and furthermore, the factor conditions within Silicon Valley are also very stable. Silicon Valley provides a good infrastructure and location for business to settle, as well as one of the top universities in the state, which brings a lot of human capital who are likely to be involved in operations. Stanford, being the best example, has provided great opportunities and scientific research and development for these companies and the region. The demand conditions of the technological industry is without a doubt very high, and the customer base remains loyal at a global scale. The quality of any company within Silicon Valley is required to be at a high standard if they are to remain competitive. Nevertheless, it is to be mentioned that in the past there has been difficulties with consumer protection laws when regarding cases such as Facebook, who have sold data of users to benefit their own. The technological industry is ever advancing, and the suppliers have a great opportunity to develop from this as well. Some example could be DEPT, also known as Dept, which is a company specialized in digital marketing. They provide a service to companies to be used as an outsourcing option for bigger companies. Overall, Silicon Valley has an outstanding cluster policy, if not the best in the world when it regards to resources available and how these resources are used to pressure development into rapid growth. Governments provide grant to companies with potential, and when accepted, this brings job opportunities for the region. However, there has been some difficulties with this cluster due to recent events. Um, since COVID-19 struck, executives and employees have fled the San Francisco Bay Area for cheaper locals, since remote working conditions have become the norm for many people. Also, Hewlett Packard Enterprise, whose origin traces back to the founding of Silicon Valley, said it planned to shift its headquarters to Texas. The departure have led many tech leaders and industry watchers to question whether the geographic region is losing its position as the nation's leading technology hub. Also, Palantir Technologies Incorporated, founded in the Bay Area in 2003, moved its headquarters to Denver this year. CEO Alex Karp, who co-founded the company, linked the departure to what he says is a view in Silicon Valley that is out of touch with American principles and societal needs. Tesla Incorporated chief executive Elon Musk said he has moved to Texas, taking aim at Silicon Valley and becoming one of the highest profile executives yet to leave California during the coronavirus pandemic. He said relocating made sense with Tesla's new factory being built in Texas. He lamented that California, in this view, had become complacent with its innovators. Therefore, I hope you enjoyed the presentation and thank you for listening.